Hello everyone, and welcome to today's YouTube video. I'm not doing too great mentally or physically. I've hurt my ankle and I'm really struggling to walk on it at the minute. So I wanted to create this YouTube video to kind of take my mind off it, and hopefully it'll be a fun little thing that you guys will enjoy, and maybe might try making it yourself. But today we're gonna do some arts and crafts. Now, I made this a while ago. It was super easy, lots of fun, and it's very, very useful and very helpful. However, the one that I previously made, due to large amounts of usage, has now become damaged, and it's kind of ripping because there's too many things inside of it. So we're gonna make a desk tidy. This is one that I made a while ago. See, the pencil here is kind of ripping and the tape's coming off because there's too many items in this desk tidy. So yeah, we're gonna make another one. These are super easy to use, and a great way to upcycle, because we're going to be using recycled materials. So you can use like plastic bottles, old milk cartons, old soup boxes, old cereal boxes, old Pringles tubs. Really great for this as well. So yeah, let's get started. Some other pieces that you're going to need for this, to hold it together. You're going to need some masking tape, because it'll hold the recycled materials together, and it's very easy to paint over, and it looks a bit nicer than sellotape, and it's more easy to work with, I guess. You're gonna need some PVA glue. Might need a fair bit of it depending on how many pieces of recycled objects you decide to stick together. You're gonna need some paints and some paintbrushes, which I have now just knocked all over my room. And you're gonna need, I've misplaced it, but you're gonna need I've forgotten the name for it, palette to like mix, like to put your colours in, mix. You're gonna have to mix the paint with like PVA glue and water so that it holds and spreads a little bit easier. And I think that's everything we need. Oh, you're gonna need a pair of scissors as well. Be careful when using these because these are sharp. If you are somebody who's under the age of like 12-ish, and you want to make this, I would advise getting an adult or an older sibling to help you when it comes to using the scissors, because that's dangerous. So yeah, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take all of our little materials, everything that we have. It doesn't matter, you can use old bottles, old cardboard cartons, anything like plastic or cardboard, recycle it. And you're basically just going to take all of your recycled items, rinse them out, make sure they're clean, and cut them in half. Like this Pringles tin. And you'll see why we're going to do that later. Keep the lid for the Pringles tin because that's going to come in handy. This one, I have misplaced the lid and I don't know where I've put it. So yeah, just take all of your recycled materials and use your scissors carefully to cut the recycled objects in half. I'm just going to use this cardboard milk carton to show you the best way to do it. So an easiest way to cut cardboard stuff is to kind of go from the edge and work your way across and round. So I'm not sure how to show you this, but I'm going to make a little cut here, and it might take a bit of pressure. Oh yeah, don't put the scissors in your face, that is not a safe thing to do. It might take a couple of attempts just to like properly, there we go, that's gone through. And then you get your scissors in the little hole and then just cut all the way around till you meet where you first cut in. Just do this slowly, carefully, and it does not have to be perfect all the way around. It doesn't have to be straight. It's just kind of a work in progress. Be patient with it. And remember to keep your hands away from the scissors and cut away from you so that you're not putting the sharp object close to your body. Now, depending on where you cut your cardboard will depend on how big or small that compartment will be, and you'll see why that's important later. Try as best as you can to kind of cut it in the middle, but you know, if you can't get it perfect, that's okay, doesn't have to be. It's a makeshift home recycled desk tidy. It's cheap, it's easy, it's fun. If you've got nephews or young kids who like arts and crafts, they will love making these. And you're also helping the environment because you're using recycled materials, which is brilliant. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut all of my materials up, and I will come back to you once that is done. Be careful when using the scissors. The plastic might be a bit harder to cut, so if it has like a lid on it, open the lid, that will let some air out, and then if you just pinch it very gently, you can actually make the first cut into it a little bit easier without having to apply too much pressure. And then, as before, you just follow it all the way around as carefully as you can. Now be careful when cutting the plastic. So you're just going to gently follow it all the way around. It makes kind of a really satisfying sound, actually. Be careful on the side, the edges where you've cut the plastic, because it might be sharp. But we're going to use some masking tape to cover that in a minute. Now, you may find that the rectangular shapes are a lot easier to cut. Like this one, for example. This is a empty old cup of soup box. Which is proving a lot easier to cut than I thought. But it turns out that rectangular shapes and squared shapes are much easier. Sorry, I shouldn't be waving the scissors around like that. That is dangerous. Don't do that. I am stupid. And my ticks might get a little bit active because I have a sharp object in my hand. Right, put the scissors down. I'm not using them right this second. There you go. Right, I'm going to come back once I've cut all of this up because there's a lot of boxes and plastic bottles and stuff to cut in half. Now, what I'm hoping you can see here is how I've used the masking tape to reinforce the box. This is hopefully going to make it a bit more durable, so that once whatever arts and crafts stuff you put inside this section aren't going to just drop out the bottom when you go to pick it up. And you want to do, like, you want to use the masking tape to reinforce anything cardboard, like cereal boxes. Just make sure you put like one layer of the masking tape straight down over the lines so that they're stuck together, and then you want to stick 2 extra pieces of masking tape on either side of the first layer of masking tape you put down, so that it laps onto the masking tape and then onto the box. You can see here the darker area is where the masking tape has been layered over another layer of masking tape, which I'm hoping will hold the box together nicely. You may also find that in some part of this crafting, a pencil to be very, very helpful. Okay, so because this Pringles top bit doesn't have a lid, we're gonna make a makeshift bottom. So you're just gonna cut out another box that you have extra. Use a pencil or a pen if it works easier. To draw around it. You should get something like this. I don't know how well you can see it. And we're just going to cut that out and masking tape it onto the top. I'm also really sorry for like the poor quality of this video. I feel like I'm not doing like the best that I could possibly doing, but I'm kind of doing the best with working with the things that I have. I don't currently have a desk that I can use in my room as a workspace, so I'm currently sat on the floor in my room trying to film this YouTube video. And you know what, it's going better than I thought it was gonna go. I'm not stressing out. Okay, so when you're cutting out the shape, you want to kind of get it as close to the line as you can, but you don't want to actually cut on the line, because it's always good to leave that little bit extra room just in case the base that you're making doesn't quite fit, because you can always make adjustments if it's a bit too big, but if it's too small then you're gonna have to start that all over again, and you risk wasting materials. I'm having trouble wording. So there, we have our circle cut out, and now we're just going to stick this with masking tape onto this side of the tub. If it's easier, you can also use the hot glue gun. But for this, I'm not going to use a hot glue gun, only because they take ages to heat up, and I don't want anyone potentially risking burning or cutting themselves on either a pair of scissors or a hot glue gun from watching one of my videos, because that would be bad. I don't want like negative things happening because of my videos. Okay, so there we have the makeshift bottom stuck onto the tub. What we've basically done is we've taken 2 long pieces of masking tape, put it so it comes across from this side, round, over the top and down, and we've repeated that so it crosses over. And you want to get this as tight as you can, but don't rip it, because masking tape tears very easily. So you can do like a couple more layers over and like one around the edge just to hold it a bit better, and then that should be done. I should probably remind you that you may go for a very large amount of masking tape whilst trying to make this, but it's okay. Okay, so now I'm confident that this base will hold and not fall off. A bit of PVA glue, let it dry, it should be fine, hopefully. Okay, so for this plastic bottle, I'm not going to paint this for the effect because this is where I'm going to put the coloured pencils for mine, but I am going to put a bit of masking tape around the edge here so that it's not sharp. Now this bit may be fiddly, so you may need some patience. Okay, so now if you run your finger around the edge, it shouldn't be sharp. Your finger shouldn't get stuck. But yeah, this is now that part finished. I'm going to put my pencils in here just so you can kind of get an idea of how it might look. Okay, so this is our bigger pot of coloured pencils, where our slightly longer coloured pencils are. And this is our smaller pot of coloured pencils because there's not enough room in this one, and these ones are a bit too short to actually be reachable in this pot. Okay, so this little pot's gonna have all of our drawing pencils, charcoal pencils, your Bs, HBs, 2Bs, Bs, HBs, 2Bs. This pencil happens to be my favourite because it looks like the broom that Harry Potter rides. Kind of. Actually says Nimbus 2000 on it, but the engravement in it is really hard to see because it's like faded. Because the bottom on this one is a bit dodgy, I needed something light to put in it, so I'm putting my paintbrushes in this one. I also have these really cool pencil blending things. I don't know the proper name for them because I forget my art knowledge. But yeah, I got these really cool blending things that you use when drawing, so I'm going to put these in with my drawing pencils so they're all together. I also have these really cool art pens that my mum got me for Christmas. They're like pens, but the tips are like paint brushes, so I'm going to put them in here with my watercolour water brushes. I'm not sure what they're called, but it's basically like a brush. It's basically like a brush, and it just has like a tube of water attached to it. So let me show you the colours of these actually. These, I need to be careful not to like drop these. These always get stuck in this packaging, so I'm glad I'm making this like desk tidy thing. You'll see how we stick it all together in a minute. So we've got three different types of greens. We've got some blues. We've got put all of my acrylic paints in, only because at the moment they're all inside this like little pencil case and it's like overfilling and I can't close it up and I don't want them to fall out, whereas this is like a bit taller, so I'm hoping this one's a bit taller, so I'm hoping they won't all fall out. So now our box is full. All of our acrylics are safely inside the box. Okay, so you're probably wondering why I've organised all of my crafts utensils into their boxes already, and we haven't even stuck it together or painted it. This is because it's important to know which items fit into which storage box. It's important to know where each box goes, and it's also helpful because if you put a small box behind a bigger box, you're not going to be able to see it. So you need to know kind of where you want things to sit so that you can clearly see. Hang on, let me adjust my camera. So you need to know kind of where you want everything to sit so that you can see everything, can kind of analyze which pieces you want to be at the front of the desk tidy and which pieces you want to be at the back. I strongly recommend the taller pieces, like the pencils, the paintbrushes, the pens, anything like that, towards the back, so that you can have the shorter pencils, highlighters, the paints, post-it notes kind of towards the front, so you can like easily know where everything is and easily access it, which is very important, because if you go to use this later and don't know where anything is because you can't clearly see where it is, it's not going to be very helpful to you at all. So we're going to keep the equipment in the boxes, and I'm going to give myself a second to kind of arrange where I want each box to sit, or each pot, or any, like, arrange it so that I know, okay, that's here, that's not, that goes there, I can stick this to that. You want to, if you need to, break it into two separate desk tidies, so you have like pencils, paintbrushes, pens in one and other stuff in another. You don't have to have it all as one big one. You could have it as separate little ones, so you could have pencils and paintbrushes and felt pens, and just kind of play around with it and see, like, it's supposed to be like a fun activity. You can like pick where you want each thing to go, how many kind of different sections to the desk tidy you want. You could, I've probably got enough materials here to make 2 desk tidies, separate ones. So I'm just going to quickly plan where I want each one to go, and then I'll show you how to stick it all together. So I finally figured out how I'm going to put this all together, and just because I think I went a tiny bit overboard with the desk tidy, I've decided I'm going to break it into 3 sections, but like that makes it easier to for me to like move it around my room, because I don't have to pick the whole thing up at once. I can take this section, put it to one side. I can take this section that's here and put it to one side. So this is literally just going to be for like all my pens. We've got brightly coloured pens, highlighters and gel pens in here. Writing pens, ballpoint pens, things like that. And then felt tips. I don't know whether I should put these ones in with the pencil stack, but I feel it might be easier to put the round ones together and the square ones together, because it's going to be hard to attach them, because it's going to bend and misshape. So let me try and work out how to show you guys how to do this bit, because this is a fiddly bit, takes a bit of patience, and you have to be careful you don't drop everything else out of the box. Oh, I don't know how much of that I actually got because I just realised for like the last 5 minutes of me blabbering to myself, the camera wasn't actually recording. So we've got this desk tidy. This is the first one. And we're currently putting together the paints and the notebooks. Oh, I've got masking tape stuck in my hair. Right. I'm gonna use the camera so I can see what I'm doing. Start from here. Gonna try and excuse the camera angle. This would be a lot easier to do if I had like a desk to like do these sorts of videos on, but I'm gonna work on that. This is what? It's not the best. It's not perfect. And it's okay. It doesn't have to be. Because I tried my best and things didn't quite go the way I wanted them to. So now our notebooks and our paints are attached. I'm going to attach the next 2 sections and update you on it. I have decided to use PVA glue because I'm not having much luck with masking tape. So I'm hoping this works better. I need... No, where's the brush? My paintbrush. Right, let's see. Try and do this so you can actually see what I'm